So, Diet Prada, the Instagram page known for polarizing fashion take, has recently been sued by the brand Dolce & Gabbana. But before I get into this further, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Fashion Roadman for all your fashion news. So it's kind of anticlimactic that the one post that made Diet Prada huge and what it is today is the one thing that has come back to bite them, which of course is the whole saga with Dolce & Gabbana. So for those who aren't aware, in 2018, Dolce & Gabbana released a series of 3 video adverts to advertise their fashion runway show that they were going to do in Shanghai, China. Each of these 3 videos feature an Asian woman in a Dolce & Gabbana dress attempting to eat pizza, spaghetti and cannoli. These adverts had a lot of backlash because of the perceived racial connotations that were involved in this video. From the things that were being said, it was as if using chopsticks are inferior, and just the commentary, it was a guy speaking Mandarin but in a very condescending tone, saying very crass sexual things, and a lot of Chinese people found it really disrespectful. And while the Dolce & Gabbana team at the time defended themselves, saying that it was just humor and it was a way for them to just kind of be funny with their advert, the Chinese public did not see it the same way. And the thing is, this was a time when Dolce & Gabbana was really trying to get a foothold on the Chinese market, which of course is the most important luxury market for any luxury brand. So they were very desperate by all means to fix the situation. And eventually they had a public apology about it. And it was Diet Prada that broke the news, really, that made it go really big. And I know most people started following Diet Prada from that circumstance. So because of Diet Prada's post and kind of the chain reaction that came, and all the people making videos on YouTube and videos on Weibo, WeChat, everywhere, eventually Dolce & Gabbana had to take the video down from all their social media pages, and that's when they came with the public apology. Diet Prada did also release a set of direct messages via Instagram that made it look like Stefano Gabbana was saying very racist things. Now, Stefano, in his defense, did say that his account was hacked, and that's something that we'll talk about later. But yeah, it did not paint Stefano Gabbana in a good light, and the whole circumstance led to a huge loss of money for Dolce & Gabbana. I mean, a lot of celebrities cancelled their campaigns with Dolce & Gabbana. A lot of Chinese people that are very well known, like celebrities, they cancelled ties with Dolce & Gabbana. People were rioting at Dolce & Gabbana stores in China. People were looting the stores, destroying the stores. So they definitely lost a lot of money. They lost a lot of reputation, especially in the Chinese market. So a few days ago, Diet Prada posted on Instagram that they were actually sued for this by Dolce & Gabbana. And they exposed that Dolce & Gabbana had been working on a defamation legal case for a while against Diet Prada. This followed by Diet Prada opening a GoFundMe to help with legal funds to fight it, essentially. Now, they were originally sued around $5 million, but more recently I've seen new articles that are saying apparently they've risen kind of the charges to 600 million. Now, of course, they don't expect to get 600 million from Diet Prada. Normally what happens in these legal cases is they charge crazy amount and then they settle for an amount that is lower but significantly higher than if they didn't make those crazy charges, essentially. So to read out the description of the post that they made via Instagram, it says, "The lawsuit argues that we should be held responsible for lost revenue and other harm to Dolce & Gabbana and its co-founder Stefano Gabbana after we criticized their 2018 advertising campaign on Weibo for its stereotypical and sexist depiction of a Chinese woman and revealed anti-Asian remarks originating from Gabbana's Instagram account. Following the widespread negative response to its advertising campaign and the withdrawal of many Chinese models and guests from a planned fashion show in Shanghai, the event was cancelled and Dolce & Gabbana issued a public video apology featuring its founders. Shortly thereafter, in early 2019, the brand filed an action for defamation, demanding that we pay damages in the amount of 3 million euros for Dolce & Gabbana and €1 million for Stefano Gabbana. The non-profit Fashion Law Institute, based at Fordham Law School, is coordinating our defense through its pro bono clinic in collaboration with Italian law firm AMSL Avvocati, which has graciously agreed to represent us at a reduced rate. Having cultivated Diet Prada as a platform where we denounce racism, amplify stories from the larger BIPOC community, and hold the fashion industry to a higher ethical standard, has been one of the most rewarding experiences thus far, and our only hope is to protect that. Love, Diet Prada. So that, of course, is basically the statement that Diet Prada made on their Instagram page. Now, to make this video, I did look at defamation laws and how they differ from country to country. So I do have a lot of insight in that. Now, for people that don't know what defamation is, I'll give you two definitions from my notes. Because there's a more general term, and defamation laws based on what country you are in is actually very different. So according to UK law, where I'm based, defamation is attacking another's reputation by a false publication, communication to a third party, tending to bring the person into disrepute. The concept is an elusive one and is limited in its varieties only by human inventiveness. So that's UK law. Now, Italian law is kind of different, but how it's defined is injuring someone's reputation by way of a communication to the plurality of people. But Italian courts not only consider the truth of the allegedly defamatory statements, they also take into account the social utility and restraint, which means that information must be expressed in a civilized way that does not violate the minimum dignity to which any human being is entitled. So, normally, if you have information that you post to a number of people that can cause harm to someone's reputation and even worse, cause to a loss of money, that by law is defamation. Now, depending on what country you are, and I actually learnt this from reading an article by The Fashion Law. So that's an amazing article that I think all of you should read about this. I'll leave the description below. The difference between, like, say, American law is American law, when it comes to things like libel or defamation, those type of cases, it's more civil things. Whereas, so just like people get charged money, people are fined. Whereas in places like Italy, defamation and libel are civil and criminal acts, which means that you can actually be arrested for things like that. So I was reading an article where they were talking about Diet Prada, through their lawyers, are trying to move the case away from Italy, and they had a lot of good statements about it. Like, they were saying that when they posted the China thing, it was regarding to Dolce & Gabbana's China branch of Dolce & Gabbana. So they can't make the case based in Italy and based on Italian law just because the main company is based in Italy, when what they posted was concerning a different branch of Dolce & Gabbana. And they're trying to also move it to America because Diet Prada is based in America. And I think that's a good move. I think anything just away from Italy is going to help their case, because I think defamation cases when it comes to Italy are extremely strict. Like, for most countries, when it comes to defamation, it's more, if you post something that is untrue, that causes a loss of money for a company or person, then legally you're in serious trouble. And more so, you'll be in less trouble if you post something that's true, but the intent behind it has malice. You could be in a bit of trouble, but you could get away with that. But in Italy, there's so much nuance. It doesn't have to be true or not true if they feel like the way you presented it led to kind of the negative effects. And there's too much like grey area. So I think they should definitely move the case outside of Italy at all costs. But I think what stands out to me the most, which is crazy, is Dolce & Gabbana and Stefano Gabbana specifically, they sued not Diet Prada the company, they sued the two individuals that made Diet Prada. Now that is evil. Now, for people that don't know, there's a difference between when you sue a company and an individual. Now the difference is, when you sue a company, let's just pretend Diet Prada lose and they have to pay 600 million, which obviously won't happen. Let's just pretend that happens. Now if they sue Diet Prada the company, well, Diet Prada can't afford to pay anyone 600 million, so the company would go into bankruptcy and then the company would just close down, whatever. At least you can make another company, I guess. There's many things you can do. But when people get sued as an individual, that is evil. That means that if Dolce & Gabbana win the case, they can go into like the personal assets of these two individuals and to kind of recoup the funds. And in some countries, depending on the law, in the UK, there's certain circumstances where if you own a house, they can sell the house, like auction the house, get that money, pay off the fees that you need to pay, and then use the rest and give it back to you basically once all the fees have been paid. So the fact that they're going for them as individuals, not as a company, is insanely like evil. That is just so sinister. And also I was reading on the fashion law that this is also something that the two individuals behind Diet Prada are defending, that actually it was Diet Prada Instagram page that posted it, not them as individuals. So it should be the company that sued, not them as individuals, which once again is a really good move. But I think what makes this really concerning is freedom of speech and what you can say on Instagram. Because while I'm not the biggest fan of Diet Prada, I think a lot of what they do is kind of like slapdash. This person copied this person. It doesn't really add much to the conversation. That being said, there are some times that I really do like Diet Prada posts, and there are times when they highlight very serious issues that need to be told, whether they're talking about racism or just things going on in different countries like conflict. That's when I do like some of the posts they have. So it's not all negative, but there's a big sector of the type of content they post that is just terrible. But that being said, I don't think that should affect their freedom of speech, especially when they were reporting on something that was actually truthful. It's not like they were lying. I think where they might come into legal problems is the direct messages on Instagram that they posted, because Stefano said that his account got hacked and now it's going to court. Now it's not about whether people in the public think Stefano Gabbana was hacked or not. If they can prove in court that he was hacked, Diet Prada is in serious trouble, because they shared that, and that would mean that they shared images that looked like Stefano Gabbana was saying really hateful things to Chinese people that wasn't even true. So that means they have a clear-cut case for showing that there was malice, there was intent on information that wasn't true, that led to a loss of money for Dolce & Gabbana. And if that becomes the case, there's no way they can win that. There's just no way. So yeah, it just, when it comes to freedom of speech, and I think this also shows that everyone needs to be careful, including people like me that post things online, to post things that are truthful and not to post like propaganda, and not to, you know, spread false narratives online, because it can come back to bite you. Especially legally. And so in spirit of freedom of speech and in spirit for the good stuff that Diet Prada does do, I do hope that their defense is successful. And I find it crazy that Dolce & Gabbana and Stefano specifically are going for them as individuals and not as a company. That means he really wants them to go through serious implications so that they never do something like that again. It's just like trying to silence them completely, which is insane. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. I would really love if there's any like law specialist or someone, lawyers that can share more insight into especially defamation laws, libel cases specific to Italy, because that's where the case is based, but also America, because it might get moved there, because that's where Diet Prada is based. So yeah, but if you like this video, like it, subscribe to my channel if you are new, turn on your post notifications so you get notified when I post a new video. And of course, if you want to support my channel financially, which I will greatly appreciate, I do have a Patreon that you can access in the link in the description below. But on that note, I'll be back with another video very soon.